school. You know, we've got to talk a little bit about the emotional turmoil that comes along with back to school. I still remember the first day I dropped my son off at kindergarten, for crying out loud. I used to get my mom or my husband to try and do the daycare and the kindergarten drop off because I couldn't handle it. It's just you're seeing the leash extended. You're seeing your little one go out into the world, and you know, God forbid they're one of those kids that act up like my son did, bawling his eyes out. You know, it's such a hard transition. So no matter what the stage, it's always hard to let them go. And right now there are so many parents preparing to send their little ones to university. They're not so little anymore. So we've put together a panel who have done the same and have some great advice, or a student that has gone to university. So Julia Grieve is back. We also have Jess Haraway with us and Hillary Adamson. And you've had two students, you've had two kids, one that has gone through the system, one that is in university right now. Jess, you're going into your second year.
Yes.
And Julia, you've got two kids. They're high school age, but they go off to school as well.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that experience and what you have to do having high school students that are, you know, going to a sleepover school. It's a boarding school. How do you continue to check in with them, and was that tough for you? Because they're a little younger, right?
It is, and it's definitely, it's always a bit of that shock factor when people find out that my kids go to boarding school.
Right.
Like, it just sounds like, you know, what, you don't like your kids?
It sounds like, are you royalty?
I totally, like Beyonce sending my kids away to boarding school. But it was just something that really worked well for our family. And I never went to boarding school. My husband, we had nothing. It was just something that evolved very, very naturally for my oldest. It worked very, very well for him. So he's now going into his second year there, and my daughter will be going into her first.
Wow.
This, like, in a couple weeks from now. And I'm just like, whoa. You know, that was my joke. I'm like, no, I like you. You could stay home. You're my daughter. But no, it's hard. It's really hard. But I think what I feel is it's about the kid, and this is what they really, really wanted. It's not about me. I have friends of mine that will say, oh, my daughter would love to go to boarding school, but I would never let her.
Oh, really?
I'm like, no, if this is what they want, then I want to encourage it and let them be happy.
Are you checking in constantly?
All the time.
So, like, how often are we talking?
I pretty much like text. I mean, that's the thing. It's different.
Texting.
It's like they're not like in the south of France. Like they're not that far away.
Yeah.
So, you know, we text, we FaceTime, we have our set up routines that we, you know, when we speak and when we, you know, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And there's very open communication. They come home on the weekends, so I see them on the weekends.
Every single weekend.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, that's good.
You know,
That's
it's like they're at camp.
Kinda.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Jess, I want to talk to you about making that transition into university, because were you a little anxious about it before you went?
Yeah, definitely. Before I went, like, none of my friends were going to school with me, so I had to try, like, make new friends and figure out, like, when to talk to my family. I feel like that was the hardest, like, trying to figure out when I should talk to them, because I didn't want to, like, call my mom every day, you know?
Yes.
And it's hard if you're trying to make friends as well, so I had to, like, figure that out. I feel like that was definitely very hard.
Did you feel like calling her every day, though? There was
at
a part
the
of you that
beginning,
wanted to?
at the beginning, yes.
Yeah.
Honestly, yeah. But then I figured out, like, after a while, like, I added my mom on Snapchat.
Smart.
Yes. And so instead of, like, having to call her every day or, like, FaceTime her, I'd, like, send her pictures throughout the day, like, of, like, what I'm eating or, like, in my lecture. And then, like, I only had to call her, like, once a week, and it was pretty cool because she was, like, kind of there in a way. Like,
yes.
So I was talking to her through pictures instead of, like, actually having to call her and tell her about my day every day.
Oh, I like that. And by the way, if my kids are watching, call me every day.
Just
every day. If you want to call every 15 minutes, that's okay. I'm okay. But I like the FaceTime. I like the Snapchat. Instagram, hit me up in my DMs. Kids, get in touch. I want to know what's up. I would love that. So that's fantastic that was your experience. Hillary, I want to talk to you now, having a child go away for school, like away, so to America, to New Orleans.
As far as away as she could get from
as
me,
far
basically,
away,
in
to the
States.
south.
Yeah.
Was that tough for you? Is it still tough for you now?
Well, it really was tough at the beginning.
Yes.
We all went down as a family, got her settled, set up her dorm room, everything. I got on that plane to come home, and I think people thought I must have been terrified of flying because I was ugly crying on the plane because it just hit me. Life was not going to be the same. Our family of 4 had completely changed. It was a new stage, and that was really hard for about a month or two, I felt like I'd broken up with my boyfriend. I'd be driving, oh, there's the sushi place Jess and I used to go to. Oh, this song reminds me of singing in the car with Jess. Like, I'm married, and but I felt like I'd broken up with my boyfriend.
Totally.
The good thing was she was happy. We did a lot of, social media changed the game for us too. So.
Yes.
We probably texted or DM'd or Snapchatted or something every day, and then we'd FaceTime probably once a week, and you really feel like you see them. Like, I'd see her in her dorm, I'd see her with her friends. And she was ready to go. I just, and I felt proud that she was so ready to go far away. And it worked out, but she hasn't come home yet. So
I know.
7 years later, she stayed for
She's enjoying
graduate
her
school
adventure.
and having a great time.
One thing you have to think about as well is when your child goes off to school, the dynamic at home changes.
Yeah.
So if there were two of them, now there's one. If there was one of them, now there's none. If there's not, and they've got such big personalities. Everyone's got their place in the family. And so I remember being away at school and being on the phone, and my sister saying, well, we're going to Mandarin. I go, you guys go to Mandarin without me? And she was like, it was weird going to Mandarin without you. Like, it was weird for her, and it was weird for me. So I'm left out of the family, and she feels like she doesn't have her sister anymore. So how long does it take to get used to that new dynamic?
That's the one that I'm the most nervous about with my daughter going away this year. That's what I'm not worried about her. She is, I want to be her. Like, she's got a great life going on over there. It's gonna be fun. I'm nervous about my youngest having just one at home, and how are we gonna manage it? It's gonna be quiet.
Yeah.
It's gonna be really quiet.
Listen, I so appreciate you guys telling your stories, because it's going to make all of us feel a little bit better if we're about to go through that transition. So thank you so much. Give them some love.